Welcome to an overview of Demand Technology Software's Performance Sentry VM. Performance Sentry VM gives you the ability to view performance metrics from an ESX server within Windows Performance Monitor, or Perfmon as it is commonly called. We're currently running an ESX server as a guest within VMware Workstation. We'll use the VMware vSphere client to connect to that ESX server, where we find that we have defined two virtual machines, Windows Server 2008 and Windows Server 2003. We'll use the client to connect to the console for Server 2008, where we will start Perfmon. We will remove the default process utilization counter and add VMware counters. VMware objects appear as VMware.guest for guest metrics and VMware host for host metrics. We'll start by adding the CPU utilization for the host and then add CPU utilization for each of the guests, which appear as instances in each of the VMware guest objects in Perfmon. When we return to Perfmon, we see that the red line is displaying CPU utilization for the Server 2008 guest. The green line is for the Server 2003 guest virtual machine, and the blue line is for the host. How does this metric compare to what we see in VMware vSphere client? We see now that the two numbers do indeed match each other. I'll highlight the CPU usage for the server, ESX server, and we see in Perfmon the same value. ESX refreshes its values every 20 seconds, and Perfmon will reflect that every 20 seconds. I just refreshed the VMware metrics. So let's see what values there are for our guest. Looking at the Server 2008, we see a value of 15.23. Oops, that value has changed, but we do see that it does reflect what we see in the vSphere client. Now, on top of these base metrics that you see, disk, memory, network, and system, in the vClient, in Performance Sentry VM, we give you some extra objects showing more detailed analysis. And the same goes for host metrics. In this case, we're showing individual processors, 0 and 1. Now, there are three advantages to running Performance Sentry VM. The first is that we give you more metrics than you would see in your vSphere client. The second is that you can display multiple counters from each of your systems on one screen, whereas the vSphere client can only show you one system's counters at a time. And the third thing is, if you already have infrastructure collecting your Windows performance metrics and reporting on them and archiving the data, you can now use Performance Sentry VM to display those metrics along with your regular Windows metrics and use those same reporting procedures to report on your VMware ESX server and guest machines. Thank you for your time. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation, and if you have any questions, please contact sales@demandtech.com. That's sales@demandtech.com. Thank you.